happy birthday first, mate. How you celebrating?
Not too much, mate. Can't really do much, but it's good to have my partners over from Melbourne. So she's been over for a couple of months now, and celebrate like that.
Walk on this week, mate. Well, firstly, actually, you've reviewed the loss to Geelong. I guess what are those things that came out of that stood out most?
Yeah, obviously it was a pretty disappointing night for the club, and I think we've been consistent in our performances all year. So to have a performance like that was really disappointing, and I think throughout the whole night we were sort of beating around the contest. They were better inside and had a lot more energy than us. So we've certainly got to turn that around this week to face the Hawks.
You make it for the season so far. They've been a little bit showing glimpses, but then otherwise kind of off the mark mostly for them.
Yeah, I think you got to look at them on their glimpses, and they've obviously got Clarko there, and he's got a very good structure over there, and we can't take them lightly, and you got to expect them for their best football, and when they do play their best football, they're a very good team. So we've just got to focus on ourselves and what we bring, and hopefully we get the win.
Karl, how do you go from sort of manic rampant pressure against Richmond to not enough pressure against Geelong?
Yeah, not sure. I think that just comes back to the season that it is. It's it's a pretty tough season, and we've done. We've faced a lot of hard times throughout the year, and it's just a performance that we certainly weren't proud of as players. And I think it comes back to us as bringing that energy around the contest and around the game. And certainly as a group, we didn't bring that on Friday night.
Is that a switch that you have to sort of turn on before a game, or you guys just sort of didn't turn up the same way you turned up the week before?
Yeah, certainly we were coming into the game, knowing it was a fairly big game, and as players we just didn't produce the energy level and the football that we wanted to produce. So, as I said, it comes back to us players.
Will that matter later in the year, Karl? If you face Geelong again, will what happened last week have an impact, do you think?
Oh, I certainly don't think so. It's going to be good for us that we get to review that game, and knowing that when we come up against them next, if we do later on in the year, that we're going to be really well prepared to face them again. But I think the one thing that we lacked on the weekend was energy, and certainly as players we've got to bring that each week to beat whoever we play.
Looking at your last sort of 12 months, it's been a pretty good transition since you signed on, mate. Were there ever doubts that you sort of reached these heights and sort of in and out throughout the years and now you've cemented yourself?
Yeah, look, well, to be honest, I think I always knew I had it in me. It was just sort of getting that out and having that consistent performance each week. And I think last year, sort of 12 months ago, I sort of was in that stage of my career where I was sort of, I didn't have a contract at the end of the year, and I was sort of at that 50-game mark, and that sort of started when I started to believe that I sort of really belonged at AFL level and could have an impact on a game, as I showed last year. So it just sort of came back to that self-belief, and once I sort of started to have a few good performances and I got that confidence in me, it sort of just grew from there. Not necessarily. I think obviously the whole story of me potentially going home and nothing sort of evaluating of that, and Michael Voss has been tremendous in his career here, and he's worked with me a lot, and also Scully, the midfield coach, having a fresh face last year was really good for me, and just learning new things off him and building that into my game, it sort of helped me along the way.
Now that you can sort of look back on it, whether you really comfortable here for Adelaide, what were the sort of things you were looking at over there in Victoria? Were you speaking to clubs? How did that all work out when you were not sure of your future?
It probably came from a conversation with Ken, probably late 2018, where I think I only played 6 games in that year and had troubles with my knee, and we had an honest conversation at the end of that year, and we said we both agreed that if an opportunity arose in Melbourne, that I'd probably look at it, and obviously met with a few clubs back in that time in 2018, but fortunately enough, nothing happened, and here I am, find myself here today.
Was it close?
I'd say it was close. Obviously during the trade week, it was probably going to go down to the last couple of days, and obviously nothing happened in that, and came back to Port Adelaide with a year left on my contract, and sort of had nothing to lose and went from there.
Do you enjoy looking back at the sliding door moments, kind of thinking what could have been and where you are now, kind of how well things are going for you at the club?
Yeah, certainly. I think obviously that was a moment that sort of could have gone either way, and I'm very happy that I'm still here in Adelaide, and everything's worked out for what it has.
Talk us through your threads, they were pretty mint.
Yeah, so this was designed by Karl Telfer, who's a local Indigenous man, and Yeah, it's a pretty special Guernsey, especially for Indigenous Week, and it's all about the sort of the past and the present connections between the two, and how we walk. And obviously, there's 62 boomerangs on the jumper, and that represents every player that's played for the Magpies and Power Indigenous. So I think that dates back to 1831 or something. So it's been a fair while of Indigenous history for the club, and it's a massive to play it in front of our home crowd this week.
To carry on this week about how Charlie Dixon doesn't play well, the team can't hang. How much do you think? Well, I guess coming into a game against Hawthorn, how much do you expect Charlie to kind of bounce back and have a big game after a quiet night against Hawthorn?
While Charlie certainly didn't have the game that he wanted, I don't think our ball movement and our offense really helped him perform to the best of his ability. And no doubt that as a team, our ball movement has to be better than what it was on Friday night. And if we get that right, then I'm sure Charlie will hit the scoreboard or do whatever he can to help the team. Yeah, I think it does. But if you've got a squad, I think the next man will just step up, and that's what they're going to have. And they've still got James Frawley down there, who's a very good defender. So, but as I said, it comes back to us and how we play and how we help Charlie.
We're looking into that wing rotation, Carl, or is there sort of any other directions you'd like to go in the future, or are you happy out there?
No, I'm happy with the wing. It's done well for me over the past 12 months. I've had my time inside a little bit earlier in the year, but at the moment it's just purely wing for me, and that's where I'm happy to play.